you have certain superstars, certain athletes that transcend their sport, that become bigger than they are. Now, specifically from a martial arts point of view. Now, I know I'm gonna be, going over, I won't be as specific as like the Bruce Lees and Hickson Gracies, not in this video, but there are really three people that come to mind. One of them is Muhammad Ali, due to what he was doing and at the time that he was doing it. Secondly, Mike Tyson. And finally, the one that we're seeing right now, in my opinion, Conor McGregor. Let's break it down. What was so special about Muhammad Ali? First off, for some of the people who don't know, Muhammad Ali was first known as Cassius Clay. So you have an individual by the name of Cassius Clay who changes his religion and changes his name to Muhammad Ali. Talk about making a statement. Now you're winning fights like that, and you've got phenomenal footwork. You're moving around in ways that people haven't really moved around back then. Furthermore, when people thought about boxers back in the day, you think about people who are kind of not uneducated, but they're not articulate, they're not well spoken for, they're just goo da da blah blah, and they're just gonna punch you in the face. So all of a sudden, when the reporter goes up, what do you have to say, Ali? And he starts using these poetic metaphors and these analogies and what was it? Fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee, and you're like, what? Did that just come out of your mouth? It was so fascinating. And when you want to talk about, one of the first charismatic guys, trash talkers, don't wrong, like this man talked some trash, right? He knew how to hype himself up at press conferences. So I think Muhammad Ali was really one of those first guys that was extremely confident, super charismatic. He was phenomenal in the ring, and all those things really banded together. And what do I mean by transcend? Before all the hardcore MMA or even martial arts people come on me, by transcend, I really mean, right, I'm not talking about, like a John Jones or a Sugar Ray or, those people who are freaking phenomenal, but many people don't know who they are, right? At this point in time, in 2020, I could go up to someone on the street and be like, hey man, who's John Jones? And chances are, if they don't know UFC, they probably won't know who he is. Go to someone and say, hey, Muhammad Ali. You're not gonna find many people who've never heard of Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, who's that? Right? Do you know what I mean in that sense? After Muhammad Ali, in my opinion, was Mike Tyson. The crazy thing for Mike Tyson was, anyone who knows, his childhood was pretty crazy. At the age of 16, he was boxing. He was boxing professionally, and if I'm not mistaken, it was either 19 or 20 years old. 19 or 20, he was the youngest ever boxing heavyweight champion. At 19 or 20, that is unfathomable. You're fighting these grown men, and you're messing them up. And Tyson had this intimidation aura about him. Not to mention he went out and he was a partier and a bunch of drugs and having to go to jail. And there was something about Mike Tyson's fights had become synonymous with ending in a minute. So people almost didn't want to watch his fights because they're like, I'm gonna pay for a 12-round fight, 3 minutes each round. And this isn't gonna, forget getting out of the first round. It's not gonna get out of the first minute and a half. And Mike was just so good at closing distance and going in there and uppercuts and hooks, and it was really just this aura, just this mystique about him. And that really, again, you go out to anyone, hey man, who's Mike Tyson? They're gonna know. They're gonna know who Mike Tyson is. Mike Tyson is a name. My friends, I believe that Conor McGregor is on his way, if he's already not there, of being a name. Because there's something about when you transcend your sport, it's not just that you're good. It's not just that, you perform really well or that you win a lot, because Conor, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, they've all lost. Right? They might not be, the most technically gifted in their time, but there's something about all three of them possessing the it factor. What is the it factor? They're all great on camera. They were all very entertaining. Now, great on camera, when I speak of charisma, entertainment, you might look at, well, Muhammad Ali, he knew how to hype himself up, make himself bigger than the world. Conor McGregor, he knew how to not only hype himself up, but make his poor opponent look like a fool, like the amount of things that were insults and trash talks, the things that he'd do. Mike Tyson, one of the mistaken things about him was sometimes he didn't talk at all. Sometimes he was kind of silent. Other times he would say some savagely ferocious things. So I'm not even gonna repeat what he said on the podcast, but he would say some things on a post-fight interview that you're watching on YouTube being like, geez, like they aired this? Like they let him say this on TV? And then knowing he'd come out of prison, was just that much crazier. So I really think, my friends, we are living in an era of like McGregor. I think, when you have someone who can sell out arenas, who can sell out stadiums, who can get millions of dollars in pay-per-view buys, it is Conor McGregor. At the time, there were three names a few years ago. It was Conor McGregor, it was Ronda Rousey, and it was Brock Lesnar. Those three from the UFC, from Dana White, they could easily sell them out. For whatever reason, people love to see them. Brock Lesnar, he was the guy who came over from WWE. They threw him straight into the Sharks, and he held up. Not to mention, he used to wrestle beforehand, so that helped. Ronda Rousey, there was a time when they stated in the UFC that women will never have a place in the UFC. Never. I think it was 2012 or maybe 2013, maybe beforehand. Never. Ronda Rousey comes and she's finishing fights in 14 seconds. You're like, what the heck? Like world class as you could possibly be. And then you have Conor McGregor, the guy who comes out is predicting fights like, you're gonna come out, you're gonna be aggressive, and I'm gonna finish you. I was just, okay, people have predictions before. But then he does exactly what he predicted he would do. And then he talks so much trash, and then the fight comes and you're expecting him to lose, but he wins. And you get to a point where people start to know your name, whether you're an MMA fan or not. I could go to any of my friends who don't even watch UFC, but I say Conor McGregor, they go, yeah, I know who that is. Oh, the guy with the bus, right? The dolly in the bus, or oh, the guy with the walk, right? Or oh, so everyone has, so whether it's through memes, whether it's through newsworthy, be it good or bad, people start to really recognize you as a person, in my opinion, who really transcends the sport. Again, I think it goes back to the it factor. It goes back to being yourself, being unique. It goes back to there's no one really like you at that point in time, doing it how you're doing it, and you captivate people's attention. Whether people want to watch you to support you, or whether people want to watch you to see you lose. But at the end of the day, I do believe we are living in the Conor McGregor era. I think that a lot of the times people take something not for granted, but for example, I bet you when the day Mike Tyson had his last bout, or the day Muhammad Ali had his last bout, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years later on, when people would ask, oh man, remember Ali? Oh, those were the good days. You have that nostalgia. I will guarantee you the day when Conor McGregor stops competing, the day when he retires, whatever happens, the kids that grew up who've never seen Conor McGregor, oh, tell me about McGregor, Dad. You get to break down. Like, well, at the time, trash talking was something. But Conor just elevated it to levels that were not seen before. The things that he would say off the cuff, this and that, whether you liked it or not, that wasn't the point. It was just, this man had a mouth on him, and he knew how to draw money. He knew how to, in the words of Kobe Covington, he knew how to draw money, whether it was with a green crayon and a white piece of paper, or just out loud. So really, my friends, I think if you are looking at the athletes today, and again, I'm just focusing on martial arts specifically, but I mean, that's a Michael Jordan, right? I mean, that's a LeBron James. I would argue, that's a Michael Phelps. So really just think about these homegrown athletes, and I feel like sometimes we get used to seeing these people perform at this extraordinary level, so that one day when they do retire and we look back, we go, you know what, man? We really had something special with Lionel Messi. We really had something unbelievable with LeBron James. And I think it's not until we look back that then we go, wow, they were really something, like truly special in a class of their own. Today I know it wasn't too much on self-improvement or whatever, but it was just really a lot of what's been on my mind. And when I can really talk about what I'm passionate about, that is the whole reason that I started this, to talk about our passions, to talk about, how to better ourselves, and really just to be aware of the world around us. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. If this was on YouTube, thank you so much. Please subscribe, like, comment, all the good stuff. If this was on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I thank you so much for listening. Have an absolutely extraordinary day today. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.